It's okay. On our recent vacation to the Pacific Northwest, my children and I shared a hotel room in Vancouver, Washington. I had the bed, while 8-year-old Mickey and 7-year-old Claire shared the pull-out couch. I awoke one night to the sound of Claire screaming. I sat up in bed and instinctually said, "It's okay, it's okay, it's okay." It really was fine. Claire stopped screaming as she gained her bearings. I asked if she'd had a bad dream. She sort of scoffed, dismissively said, "I don't know," and went right back to sleep. As I sat there in that hotel bed, I kind of chuckled to myself. Not only because Claire seemed almost annoyed with me for even suggesting she might have had a bad dream, but also because I realized the situation made a pretty good metaphor for parenting. First, there's just something very innate and instinctual about parenting. That's not to say it's easy or comes naturally. There's just something about being a parent that unearths some sort of buried fundamental instinct. My heart was racing as I lied back down that night. I hadn't immediately noticed it, but the sound of my daughter in distress had me instantly awake, adrenaline up, senses heightened, assuring Claire everything was fine. None of that had anything to do with my parenting beliefs or choices. The truth is, I had no cognitive control over my initial response. It was just a reaction, and I've had the reaction before. I tend to be a pretty heavy sleeper, but there's something about a sound from one of my children that instantly draws me from the deepest slumber. Claire's bedroom is in the basement, and there have been a few nights I've sprung from my bed and come sprinting down the stairs at the sound of her voice compulsively repeating, "It's okay," before I even fully realize what is happening. That's sort of parenting right there. It's bringing these little people into the world and loving them more deeply than we could have previously fathomed. It's fearing for them and cheering for them. It's feeding and bathing and clothing, turned to listening, engaging, and advising. It's sort of a mess, really. At every stage, more than anything, we as parents just want to make things okay. The trouble is, kids don't come with handbooks. It's sort of unbelievable bringing that first child home from the hospital. I remember thinking, really? That's it? You're just sending us off with a tiny human? Pet adoptions require more vetting. In that regard, parenting can be both literally and figuratively springing up in the middle of the night to a screaming child. It's emotional and chaotic, and we often don't know what to do. At least not intellectually. There are probably 100 things a day I screw up trying to raise my kids. Maybe I come down too hard on them for not being completely transparent about something because I value honesty and integrity above most things. Maybe I let them stay up too late and eat too much ice cream because I believe in really living each day. There's no slide rule for determining the perfect combination of encouragement and discipline, freedom and direction necessary to develop a well-adjusted, high-achieving, purposeful, and happy human being. Plus, it turns out every single human person is a unique blend of emotions and strengths and preferences that completely destroy any hope of perfect parent quantification. Maybe then, it's best to take a step back from our conscious thought and spend a little more time in that subconscious part of our being that seems to awaken when we have children. When anything in life gets complicated, I find it best to strip the situation down to its essence. In that regard, when it comes to parenting, I try to simply focus on loving my children. That's the part that comes from my heart and my gut. And that's what's really important. As parents, we don't need to have all the answers. We just have to love our children, and everything will be okay. Thank you.